today we'll talk about Virgo. Virgo is one of the zodiac signs known to be a little bit pimpy and order-loving. But on the contrary, we can come across very messy, very complicated. Before I want to tell you about Virgo, I would like to talk about a novel that reveals why this situation arises. Balzac has a novel called The Hidden Masterpiece, and in it there is a hero named Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer is a painter, and he is trying to make a perfect painting. For 10 years he weaves that painting, but when he finally shows it to the people after 10 years, he is very disappointed. Because they see nothing but white paint. Fraunhofer had so much desire for perfection that he hid his work behind layers and layers of paint. Fraunhofer can exhibit similar behavior to Virgo. The fact that he hides it under layers of paint and strives for perfection is perhaps one of the most important elements that Virgo should pay attention to. When Virgo is trying to be perfect, to do the best, planning the time, when Virgo is already writing down the summer vacation that will take next year, when Virgo is making her to-do list, he or she is actually pursuing a thought about perfecting. Of course, life is not that perfect. Now, apart from that, sometimes you can see Virgo's tendency to do nothing. As I said, Virgo is called very organized, but we can see Virgos, they can be very disorganized and very chaotic. If Virgo people does, they have to do the best categorization. So they have to sort the books maybe according to the letters, or according to the size, or according to some other classification. Then it gets so big that the best thing to do is to do nothing at all. And we can face many Virgos who are already experiencing the shadow of a Pisces. Now let's talk about another story. There is another story we can tell it, and that can also address one of the problems of not seeing the whole. This is an Indian legend. Maybe you have all heard of it, the story of the 6 blind men and the elephant. 6 blind men touch the elephant and try to understand what it is. One of them touches the elephant's knee and says tree. One of them touches the elephant's ear and says fan, and other blind men touch other parts of the elephant and try to name it. In fact, it is an elephant, but they see something different from where they are looking. They take it apart. They cannot see the whole. That's what Virgo does sometimes. It is as if by taking everything apart, by categorizing everything, Virgo fails to see the beauty of the whole. The view of the forest is beautiful. When you focus on each tree, you lose the beauty of the whole. Virgo is perhaps much more prone to not enjoying life and being grumpy. Because you cannot love life unless you break it down, unless you see the beauty of the whole, unless you love the whole. Not loving life, failing to see the beauty in the whole of life, experiencing self-love deficiency when it turns inward, and when criticism reaches its limits. Virgo can manifest signs of self-disregard. Self-acceptance becomes the key to healing for Virgo. Of course, when we talk about Virgo like this, we are also saying that they make life miserable for themselves, because everything is beautiful without control. But perhaps one of Virgo's most difficult lessons is to stay in the flow. And again, another story tells us about their relationship with justice or order. And this is also the story about her being a Virgo. It is set in Greek mythology. This story is about Astrea. Astrea is a goddess of justice. She represents order. She is a daughter of Themis of justice. And she doesn't live on Olympus like other goddesses. She chooses to live among people. However, she finds immorality. As she realizes the lack of rules, lies, deceit, hypocrisy, he wants to get away from it. And she becomes lonely and wants to experience that state of loneliness by turning into the constellation Virgo in the sky. Yes, Virgo's obsession with justice and order, the state of everything being in its most perfect as it can be, in its most beautiful state, in its most deserved state, is not a very realistic state. At this point, Virgos also applies this to themselves. And that's why Virgo is one of the most criticized signs. What you criticize is definitely a reflection of an aspect you don't like in yourself. And everything you try to perfect outside cannot go beyond an ideal, because everything in life is imperfect. Yes, that's all from Virgo for today. See you in other zodiac signs.